Hello and welcome to the Jedi Council interviews. This is the third in a series that I'm doing, talking to kind of tournament organisers and top players around the UK. And I am over the moon to welcome, to join me today, Jed, who is a fantastic player and also tournament organiser. So, Jed, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, no problem. I've when I was thinking about doing this series, there were two names that really jumped to the forefront of my mind. There was Elsa, who I had on episode one, and yourself as two people that I really wanted to talk to. So yeah, I'm really glad that we've been able to find some time to do this.
Yeah, glad to come on board.
Fantastic. Right. Well, let's kick off as I have done with the other episodes as well. And yeah, for those listening who are kind of not aware of yourself, maybe you could give us a little introduction. Talk about kind of how you got into tabletop gaming, and yeah, kind of talk us through who you are in the kind of Shatterpoint world.
Yeah, so name's Gerard. So I got into the hobby, standard typical route, Warhammer 40k at a very young age, sort of early teens, uh, collecting the Blood Angels. To be honest, after around about 1820, I went missing from the hobby world for a good 10 years. Um, a friend of mine introduced me to Element Games, where I started playing a lot of Magic the Gathering and sort of edged back into the miniature gaming world. That's when Marvel Crisis Protocol came out, and that game really interested me and certainly ticked a lot of boxes on what I wanted to get back into in terms of miniatures. Really enjoy that game. Thankfully, they brought out Shatterpoint, which I was really excited for when they announced that.
So you say there you started with 40k, but I'm interested to delve maybe a little bit into what you said about MCP in terms of that being a game that was something you were interested in getting into. What was it about MCP that maybe drew you back into the hobby? Then you've drifted away from your 40k and into your Magic the Gathering, which is a pretty standard thing in the kind of wargaming circles. I think everyone dabbles a bit into something from Games Workshop, then into some card games, and then find themselves back into the tabletop hobby. But what was it that drew you into the MCP in particular then?
Mainly the individual characters. I absolutely love Marvel. I'm not a huge fan of army batch painting, so painting individual models sounded really up my tree. Certainly interested me a lot.
Sure. So and then so it, obviously big fan of Marvel there. That's fantastic. Was it so it was definitely more of the kind of the character appeal rather than anything gaming wise that drew you into the MCP world?
A lot more of the mechanics as well of the game. It's not just an all-out battle and rolling dice. There's a lot more strategy to the game.
Sure. I something that was very interesting. I was in discussion with someone the other day, and they were talking about how Shatterpoint. They think Shatterpoint is dropping off maybe a little bit in some areas because it doesn't have the removing the models from the table, the kind of killy side of wargaming. But that's interesting that was maybe something that appealed to you more than you're saying.
So I kind of I've really took to liking how Shatterpoint operates differently to MCP in that aspect.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I haven't I must confess I've watched quite a lot of MCP through a guy called Joe Manji, who's a former Blood Bowl player who I know through Blood Bowl. So I've watched a lot of his MCP stuff, but I'm not too familiar with the differences between MCP and Shatterpoint. In kind of layman's terms, what would you say the main differences are then between the two games?
In terms of like what we spoke a second about, what you've really got to get used to if you're jumping from MCP to Shatterpoint is in MCP a day's model can do absolutely nothing.
Okay.
But in Shatterpoint, let's for example Seven Scorch, they could be wounded, but they can still dash and do their 5 dice attack stuff, which in MCP just does not happen.
Okay, so if something gets dazed, then it's completely removed. You can ignore it. You're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Until it either flips over, but if it's KO'd, obviously it's leaving the table, so that's a different matter.
Sure, sure. Okay, so you then say you say you've gone come from MCP. You saw Shatterpoint. Was it then hearing early doors, hearing about the differences between the two that attracted you into Shatterpoint then?
Uh, Again, I had from AMG delivering a very good game in Marvel. I had very good confidence in the game. I liked a lot of the different mechanics, um, and certainly Star Wars is definitely one of my favorite.
Your kind of one of your favorite IPs to be involved in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's fair. I mean, so what was your I think I chatted with some people before, but what's your kind of favorite kind of era or area of Star Wars? Do you have particular favorite characters from the films, the TV, the comics, etc.?
I'm definitely more into the original trilogy.
Okay.
Um, yeah, standard classic Luke Skywalker, Han Solo sort of era.
Sure. So
Yeah, that's definitely me.
so even early, you were involved from the beginning with Shatterpoint, were you?
Yeah, I pre-backed it when it came up for pre-order.
Nice, yeah, yeah. So even though you were maybe not such a big fan of that kind of Clone Wars kind of style of the starter kind of box and that first wave of things there, you were still completely invested in Shatterpoint then, just from the kind of game side of it.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously we all went into the game a little bit blind. They didn't give a lot of information away.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
that's for sure.
Sure, and then so then kind of bringing this then through into the kind of your starting to talk about your tournament organizing side of things then. So with how did you find the game at the beginning up in Element? Was there a lot of interest? Was this something where you could see that there would be a natural progression into a tournament scene, or did it take some time to kind of get the ball rolling?
Um, there was a lot of interest from the Marvel Crisis Protocol players.
Okay.
Obviously already playing an AMG game, interested to see what they were bringing out in this game.
Yeah.
I've put a lot of time and work to get the community growing, and that certainly took a bit of effort.
Sure, sure. And is that so? Why? What was the kind of main motivator around you doing that? Is it simply something as straightforward as you just wanting to get some more games in, or is there? Do you have a do you feel like you owe the community something? What's your kind of motivation for starting to run these tournaments then?
So I must admit, so like I was talking to Tony, who organizes all our Marvel stuff, and like talking about it needs a person to kickstart the community,
Mm.
and I I wasn't sure I would like the TOing, but really wanted to see how I could do and if I could grow the game. Just really wanted to see if I could get into that TOing.
And how
I'm
did you?
surprised actually.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, how did you find that then? At the beginning, if you're taking your first steps, thinking back to your first kind of steps forward into TOing, how did that go?
So I found I really enjoyed it. It's a different aspect than just playing the game, turning up to the tournament, and just being a player. It's completely different, but I quite enjoy it.
And in terms of your kind of TOing style, I don't know if you listened to the episode that I did with Elsa earlier in the year, and she often will bring. If she needs to be spare player, for example, she'll bring two lists with her. So something that's on meta, something that's off meta, and a bit fun, and literally say to the person who's got the buy round, what do you fancy playing? But then there's another guy down Southway, Louis, who will always try and play all his events with potentially with a meta list, and then Jono in my local area, he's just going to play what he wants to play anyway, whether it's meta or not. Do you have a particular kind of approach then as a TO, as kind of spare player? Are you always looking to play, or would you be happy just to sit back and make the odd judge call as needed?
So I, I feel really bad about playing unless there's odd numbers.
Okay.
But in terms of how my events at Element go, because we have had a lot of big numbers events, like certainly my GTs over 40 players,
Yep.
there's not a chance I'm playing, even if there's a
Yeah.
buy.
Yeah.
Um, I, I can't play. There's just too much going on. Um,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, that's you touched on it briefly there. You ran the largest GT in the UK last year, and you've been awarded that again. And congratulations for that. We've only got 4 GTs in the UK currently this year. Are you expecting to hit those kind of numbers again? And what's your kind of aspiration for that GT this year?
So, I mean, I'm 100% confident on hitting their numbers. I mean, I've sold 20 tickets before this year even kick-started. Um, I've also had contact from other players in other countries. There was a
Nice.
guy from Scandinavia contacting me, a couple from Poland, and someone from Spain as well. So, really heavy on the interest.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, this brings me on to something that I'm curious to hear as someone who is based at Element Games, as your kind of local area. So prior to playing Shatterpoint, I was involved in a game Blood Bowl. Heavily involved in Blood Bowl, and I'm also aware that the Middle Earth strategy battle game scene up in Element, as is the same with Blood Bowl. It's all you've said just there about attracting players from other countries over to play in big tournaments. This is exactly the same thing that happens in those two game systems. What is it about Element Games and the Stockport area of the world that is so attractive to wargaming?
Yeah, I mean, Element's been around for a long, long time, and it's definitely one of, if not the biggest gaming centres in the UK. It attracts such huge numbers. It's the only one in this main area. It offers good transport around with the close to the M60, so it's good transport links to north and south. There's a lot of players play there, and it's big enough to, even if a game is only small popularity, there'll be some players for it.
Sure. And I guess as well, because it's obviously got the shop attached to it, there's a whole store attached to it, they can just order in, what's needed, right? And the supply and demand can match each other quite nicely hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've even got they've got 2 warehouses now, so they can literally stock, like you say, whatever is needed on demand.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Now I notice, obviously we'll come on to talk more about the GT and the larger events. But I noticed that this year you've started to put in something, or maybe it's the tail end of last year. You started to bring in some what you're calling, I think it's the Friday night casual. What's that event in particular?
So our main gate club night is a Friday night. So just for locals, and anyone is more than welcome to come and join. Just once a month, we do just a casual event. It's free to join. Obviously, you have to pay your Element gaming table fee, but the tournament itself is purely free, and just anyone can rock up and play.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. And I think some of the recent ones I've done on the stat show, you've knocking on the doors of double figures, getting close to that. Is that kind of just what you're after? It's literally just a club night, but then with a kind of a bit more of a tournament structure to it.
Yeah, for sure. I find a lot of our locals prefer a more competitive scene rather than just casual playing. So they quite enjoy a little tournament night.
That's interesting. And had you considered a league format, or was that just not going to work with the kind of the local scene?
We've dabbled on it and tried on it. It's not really quite worked with our community.
Okay, is that again just because you've got the competitive players, or what do you think is driving that?
Um, sure, we've just been struggling to, everyone's been struggling to get the games in.
Okay, so maybe
I've not really managed
yeah.
to put a finger on it.
Okay, so maybe having like that monthly kind of, hey, it's always going to be running on the last Friday of the month, or whenever it lands, right? It's going to run on this date every month. We're going to just keep it chugging along, and you don't mind whether you get 6 people or 16 people. right? You can just run your little event in the evening, and everyone can feel like they're playing for something, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a little bit fast paced than you would rock up for a Saturday tournament or any weekend tournament because we only do
Sure.
1 hour, 20-minute rounds.
Oh wow. Okay. And do you have a mission critical in that as well, or something to keep the pace up?
Mission critical after 50 minutes, so 30 minutes.
Okay. Okay. And how do you think that's how do you think that's worked out? Does everyone seem to respond well to that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's weird. You've only got an hour and 20. It's as though your brain just automatically everyone seems to work faster. We don't have many games going to time. You'd be surprised.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, and I think maybe a discussion for another time, but I think the new mission that we've got coming out, I think that will also see a lot of faster games. I've played a couple of games on the new mission already, and they've both have been finished within that 1 hour 20 time frame easily, without mission critical needing to be called. So yeah, I think we'll see some pace on that.
Yeah, for sure.
So then, in terms of kind of then moving on to some of your other events, obviously you've got your GT as the kind of flagship. But what are your kind of other maybe weekend events now? I think am I correct in saying you're giving away some tickets to a big event for 2027 as a prize, as maybe an incentive for people to attend?
Yeah, so we're using that. So I've noticed that there's a lack of 1 day. There's certainly room in the market for 1 day events in Shatterpoint. So we're doing a series called GT series. So it's Marvel and which is hosted by Tony Moore, and then Shatterpoint hosted by me. So Jed and Tony's series. That was the naming behind it.
Oh, very good.
Uh,
That works out beautifully, doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
and next year I'm feeling like there's room for a second 2-dayer
Okay.
in March, which is going to be called Rise of the Jedi.
Nice.
And that is the main prize for winning our single events.
So it's a free ticket to that 2 dayer there. Now you say you think you've got market for another 2 dayer. What's kind of driven that? Is it the time of year that you're looking at? Is it because I think is am I correct in saying it's going to be a March event in 2027?
Yeah, so it's going to be March. I believe it's 12th and 13th.
Okay, and is
The
that
weekend, correct?
and is that the main reason why you think it will work? Is it the time of year? Do you think there's a gap in the market at this kind of we're almost approaching it that kind of time of year? Do you think there's a gap in the market then as the AMG GT season kind of closes with Adepticon?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's not many 2-day Shatterpoint events in the UK at all, to be honest.
No.
The main choice for the date, Tony again. He's hosted for years now the Marvel Crisis on that date that weekend.
Ah, okay.
So we want to do kind of like an AMG gaming day. So half of Element will be for me, half of Element will be for Tony.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's really good. I might have to. I was contemplating this one now, but now you're saying that there's a couple of guys that I know that play MCP, so I might now that might be the extra incentive to tip me over the edge to come up north on that weekend. Then that's wicked. That sounds really fun. So. Now let's move on to the kind of the flagship, the GT. So last year was that the first GT you'd run last year, was it?
So that was my second one.
Ah, your second one. Okay. So let's bring it back. Let's dial it back then to the year before, and let's kind of talk through the growth then of the GTs. So year one, what was your kind of numbers? What was your feeling, and what were maybe the lessons that you kind of took away to bring yourself into year two?
I feel like in year one, I believe the numbers were right. I believe it was 36. And I think the mistake from that, I didn't go in with enough confidence. So Element's hiring structure is you buy quarter, half, or 3/4 and a full.
Okay.
And I didn't go in with enough confidence, so I just booked a quarter. And I feel like I could have done better.
Sure. Okay. And so when you moved into year two, that was that did you then book a half for year two? Was it?
Yes. So I booked half um, for year two. Definitely learning from my lessons of the previous year of not booking enough space.
Okay, that's interesting. And then I've heard on the grapevine as well. You've got an interesting way of dealing with the kind of for want of a better phrase, the terrain problem that some events struggle with in terms of getting enough terrain. Am I correct in understanding that you offer a discount, or you offer a separate award for best painted terrain if you
Yeah.
bring a box? Is
So
it
I
yeah.
offer terrain tickets, limited numbers. I'll offer so many out to start with, and then if numbers start getting to where I need more, I'll start offering more out. So it's a £5 discount on your ticket. So £35 for my GTs if you bring in a set of terrain.
And then is there am I correct as well that there's a little best painted terrain award as well?
So I haven't done best painted terrain. I don't think I
Oh,
did
okay.
last year. I did do in the first year. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
maybe
I
should have
could,
done
so,
that.
so I am right in thinking that you've done it on one occasion. That's good. Yeah, I think that's an absolutely fantastic idea there, because I know that lots of places in the particularly around the UK, and obviously we're aware of some in America as well. The amount of terrain you need when you're starting to, even 8 tables of terrain for some gaming stores with Shatterpoint, they won't be able to provide that. So I think that's a really clever way of encouraging the community to paint up some terrain, and offer a little bit of incentive, and yeah, by offering a discount to get a full table. That's fantastic. That's really good.
Yeah, for sure. It certainly worked in numbers. I mean, I own a stupid amount of myself. I mean, I've got nine sets of Shatterpoint terrain that I own.
Oh my lord. Oh wow. Is that all official, or are you 3D printing as well?
So it's a bit of a mixture. I've got one, two, three, five core sets of terrain that I own.
Oh wow.
Um, three sets of 3D printed. I've got the Endor one, which I kind of put together myself with wood and stuff.
Oh nice. Very, very, very authentic then. Definitely a wooden terrain for the Ewoks. Very good.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess the other kind of question I have then is you've talked about the space being something that you look to improve on, but were there any challenges for you as a TO? I mean, I know we've played versus each other a couple of times, played on TTS and in person, and your knowledge of the rules and the game, it's very clear that you're absolutely someone who, if I had a question, I would happily turn to you if you were on the table next to me and say, "Hey, can you just help clarify this one?" But were there any difficult calls, or were there any kind of like difficult aspects to the TOing aside from your venue space in either of those first 2 years?
In terms of difficult calls, I've quite, I have had some challenging rule queries, and the person not happy with my result. I've had a couple of people query it, but I'm usually pretty. I'm very brushed up on the rules. I try and make sure I get every rule fair and correct.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all not perfect. I'm sure there's something I might have got wrong over time, but I am quite firm. That's my view on it. That's what it is. I've been confident in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think confidence is the main thing, and I think from most people's perspective, like whenever I've called a TO over to either to clarify a ruling or to make a measurement call, whichever way they call it, I'm going to go, okay. Well, that's I asked for your help. If you then give me the answer that says no, you're not within two of that objective, or no, you can't do it in that sequence, then that was my choice to call you over, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So obviously you've got your big GT this year. So what's your aspiration for this year? If you could let's say it's October in 2026, your GT's been and gone, and you're sat in the pub with a beer, and you're looking back at it, and you go, you know what, I'm really happy with that. What would that look like right now? What would you be happy with for the GT Upper Element in 2026?
I think the main goal is to see the game and the community grow. So an increase in numbers on each year is definitely high on the goal tally list.
Fantastic. And is that I wasn't able to attend. I don't think I had attended a tournament for Shatterpoint in year one when you ran it, so I don't think I was ever going to attend that one. And then unfortunately last year I had a clash for when you ran it last year. But I'm definitely looking at coming up this year. But do you think the way that the UK tournament scene is growing at the moment, do you feel confident that you'll see people travelling? I mean, obviously you've got people coming from potentially coming from other countries to come and play at the event. But do you feel confident that you'll see maybe more people from kind of down south, kind of my way, making the journey up to the GT?
Yeah, absolutely. People look at past events, feedback that they see on the Facebooks and the internet anywhere, and the event's been solid and good, and want to come and be part of that. I'm confident they will for next year.
Yeah,
this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this year definitely. Yeah. And then I kind of mentioned there the kind of the UK scene, and this is what I'm trying to do with these interviews and with these with my kind of series and looking at the kind of the stats center and stuff like that. I'm just trying to get the game out there and kind of just show people what's going on the doorstep. So if you were to encourage people to come to that GT, what would you kind of say? Is there a message you'd say to people to come as to why they should come and play at the Element Games GT later in the year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the event is fun for everyone to attend, whether you're going to be someone who's not looking to try and win the event. I give a lot of incentive to participation, so you get a lot from my events for just participating. I do lots of spot prizes, which really interest people, seem popular.
Nice. Yeah, again, that's something that came through in Blood Bowl a lot, was lots of spot prizes and stuff. Is that just kind of random Star Wars memorabilia, or is that Shatterpoint specific stuff, or a mix of everything?
So I've varied that up year to year, but this year it's going. I've got a lot of Coggo 2 stuff that I've purchased.
Nice.
So that's what I'm looking to do. Instead of it still be spot prizes, but slightly different. I'm going to do Shatterpoint Bingo.
Okay.
So I'm going to have lots of little small prizes. There might be like Star Wars mugs, Star Wars coasters, key rings, little small ones if you just create one row. But it's going to be a bit American style. So it's like if you complete one row, that's worth 2 points. But if you come back to me with 4 completed rows, that's worth 10 points, and you can have yourself something like I've got Coggo 2 struggle trackers, movement tool trays. So we're talking some big, nice prizes for that.
Oh, that I really like that, and this comes back to again, the conversation with Elsa in kind of episode 1 of this series. Having those kind of like little mini games within the game, it's a way of engaging with people that, as you say, are maybe newer to the game or are not looking to just play Boss Cassian and try and go 6-0, right? Because not everyone turns up to an event for that, right?
Absolutely. You've always got that mix of people. You've got a mix of people, some that are here to just absolutely try hard and win at all costs, and they want to win the event.
Yeah.
And then you've got the people that are just there they want 6 rounds of fun games. They're not bothered who they play, what they play. They just want to enjoy the games.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something, I don't know how it is in MCP, but that's something that I think really works with Shatterpoint, is that I've spoken about it before, but the kind of the natural narrative, the natural kind of movie moments of the game, the fact that you can have, your Obi-Wan versus Grievous, your Luke versus Vader, just happening there on the table in front of you. And, who cares whether you've brought, all Ewoks that are actual Ewoks, and you're 0 and 5, but hey, in your last round, you're playing versus, Han, Chewie, Leia, Luke, all, and it's, and you happen to be on that handmade Ewok board that you've made, like that could make someone's weekend, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've seen some really thematic battles like you speak of, and yeah, that definitely makes people's day. Just a
Yeah.
fun game.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Well, I love the sound of that. I think that's a really clever way of as you said, bringing in different aspects of the community, and kind of, doing some spot prizes. Sounds really, really, really fun. And then that kind of brings me on to the other major event that you're involved in this year, because not content with just, running some Friday night casuals, which, some people would say, right, that's me done. No, you're running additional weekend tournaments. You're planning ahead for 2027. You're running a GT, which could well be the biggest in the UK yet again. But you're also involved in Ardacon, aren't you?
Yeah, so James runs the Ardacon, which he mainly focuses on the Middle Earth gaming. Wanted to expand to different games and get different games on board, and approached myself and Tony about that. So instantly I was sold on the project, because I've started to realize as a TO I really like taking on a challenge, and seeing if we can get Shatterpoint into this Ardacon American convention style event.
Okay. So Ardacon, obviously, it's one of the big, if not the big Middle Earth event. I know that there are, people travel global. Australians come to Ardacon, to come and play in the kind of team events and stuff in there, and then pitch themselves for the individuals. When you were kind of starting to think about how Shatterpoint would work in that setting, did you think of just going kind of like for like, or what was your kind of process in your kind of 5-day format that you kind of ended up in?
Yeah, so I mean, sorting out the format's been a bit of a challenge, because you've got to try and gain interest from the people abroad for sure, but obviously the local scenes are equally, and if not more important as well. So you've got to try and interest all parties.
Sure, and so so Ardacon's running Wednesday to Sunday, I think is correct. That's correct, isn't it? Wednesday to Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, and so you were looking at, I mean, obviously we've got things like Adepticon coming up. We're hearing a lot about Adepticon at the moment on all the American Shatterpoint, the America-based and Canadian-based Shatterpoint podcasts at the moment, in terms of what's going on with Adepticon. When you were thinking about this, looking at kind of 2-person team, 3-person team, Thremier, all this sort of stuff, were you really drawing upon what was going on out at those big events in the US when you were starting to think about what you would do in the UK?
So I can't look at that. I didn't think I could look at that too much, to be honest, because I don't think the scene in the UK on many of our gaming systems, maybe apart from 40k, is quite strong enough they do like 2 or 3 heats for each event, and then you get your weekend event, which everyone qualifies for if they can.
Yeah. But you have gone for team events at the moment with Ardacon. Do you think there is mileage for that in the UK? Is that something that you're particularly interested in kind of championing?
Yeah, I mean, I think my personal view, I think team events are just the best events. I absolutely love team events.
Yeah, me too.
And I think that interests. That's a good starting point to interest people, certainly abroad, coming for over for a team event, get a few people going.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yes, because obviously, if you've got a few mates coming over, turn up on the Thursday, for example, play a team event, and then if they want to go sightseeing on another day, they can, and then hit it up for the individual. Right? There's it offers just a bit of an extra incentive to spend that money and travel to a different country. Right?
Yeah, absolutely, and the venue's really good. it's certainly had a lot of success over the years. Hopefully, we can join in with that success.
Yeah, amazing. And obviously, I'm, I personally, I don't think that just because of the way my work pattern works, I don't think I'm going to be able to make the any of the weekday events. Unfortunately, just because of the way it's fallen with my work schedule. But how is it looking at the moment in terms of your thoughts on it? Ticket sales looking good. Where are you at with the kind of with the Ardacon kind of thing? You've said obviously your GT up an element is you've sold 20 plus tickets already. You're already almost you're a third of the way there to filling the event up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Ardacon's certainly been a little bit steadier on the pace. Um, I'm looking at just a sort of advice off the community, see what people feel like on the formats that I've chosen, trying to get some feedback on that, see what people's views on that are.
Okay, what's that in particular? I'd like to hope that there'll be a large chunk of the UK community, stumble across this podcast in some form or fashion. So, what kind of feedback are you after in terms of the Ardacon event structure then?
Just more of people how people feel about what's laid out over the price. Do they, what they're getting for the 5 days? Are they all happy? Are they happy with the team events, the doubles events? I've done doubles before, and that was a bit hit and miss. That one, some people liked it. That was a bit.
Okay, interesting. But do you think with maybe let's say the doubles event doesn't gain much traction in Ardacon, do you think that might be something you could look at bringing into your 2027 season upper element maybe for next year?
Possibly. It's got a possibility. I'd probably look for some feedback maybe from some people that attended my events. It's always best to gauge the community for what feedback and what they actually want and enjoy, because they're the people that make these events happen, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's all build it, and they will come is the phrase. But if you're not building the right thing, then no one's ever going to turn up, are they? So yeah. Okay, so that's sounding like a very busy 2026 for yourself. Then that's sounding really good. But looking ahead, as a TO right now. What are your kind of future aspirations? Past you've already planning your first 2-dayer in 2027. What would you like to see maybe over a longer course of the time period? Over the next 18, 24 months kind of thing. What do you kind of hope to achieve as a TO?
Difficult. I just continually like, I've got very good feedback from my events. I just want to hear that people have been enjoying my events and the event scene's growing. And Shatterpoint, I just want to keep seeing it growing and thriving as a game, really, to be honest.
Sure. I mean, that's I think that's. And I think that's something that I would like to think that most people who are playing the game want to see the game grow. And as I say, I haven't yet attended one of your events, but I will be attending events of yours this year. And even though I'm not even though I'm not based up where you are, I'm sure that the guys up there and girls up there, etc., would like to say a big thank you, because it is very, very clear that there are 2 or 3 hubs really in the UK, and one of them is absolutely running out of Element games, and it is very, very clearly down to the effort and commitment that you've put into it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly been thriving with our events. We've obviously had good numbers to back that up.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And then maybe to kind of close out, I'd be very keen to get you on for another one of these a little bit later in the year to kind of talk about kind of playing and metas and that sort of thing as well, because not only are you a fantastic TO, you're also a brilliant player in your own right. But what's your kind of focus for the year as a player individually? You're not going to be able to attend your own GT because you're running it, but are you intending to go to the other GTs? I also see you've got the Sheffield event at the beginning of March. We're both going to be there at that one there. Are you intending to play quite a lot of Shatterpoint, or are you dabbling with both MCP and Shatterpoint?
So a bit MCP is obviously trying to fit in TOing and playing events is becoming a bit restrictive on time because I've got to still, I've got a family and everything. But I am looking to play I want to play GT. I'm away for Games Expo again.
Yeah.
When the Sheffield GT got announced to the date for the Shatterpoint, I'd literally the week before booked to go to Ireland for MCP. I was like,
Oh no.
So I'm eyeing up in August I believe it's called Freak Wars in Spain, and getting a couple of people from the UK interested in that.
Oh wow! Okay, so through some scheduling clashes, maybe not attending the UK GTs because you're running one yourself, and you've got some scheduling clashes on two of the other four. But yeah, wow, going abroad for a tournament yourself, that sounds fantastic. Is it an individual event or a team event as well?
So it's, for the Shatterpoint, it's an individual weekend event.
Very nice, very nice. And is do you think you got interest from your local crew to go and join you on that one as well?
Yeah, so I've got about 2 or 3 solid people that are definitely interested in coming at the moment. So it definitely looks like we'll be going.
Oh, brilliant stuff. And then, and have you got any other kind of UK one dayers maybe planned? I know, as I say, you got the Sheffield one coming up, and obviously you can play in your own events if you're on odd numbers, right? You can play your own events. But any other UK events kind of caught your eye at the moment, or are you just kind of keeping an eye on what's coming up?
Yeah, I just keep my eye heavily on the Discord event announcements, and if the events line up that I'm not I don't have something else on and it's on a day off work, I will try and attend where possible. Fantastic stuff. Right, well, thank you so much for your time. That's been a really great to hear your kind of journey through TOing and hearing about all those amazing events. What I will do for those listening, I will put links to all the various events that I can that you've got up in the YouTube description. So if you are interested in attending any of those events, please do check them out. Before we kind of close it out, is there anything else that we maybe haven't discussed that you want to mention before we close out the episode? We touched on the GT, which is in 19th, 20th of September. We've got the gaming series, like we've already touched on, which is every 2 months. Anything else we've not really touched on?
Brilliant. Well, fantastic stuff. Well, all that remains for me to say then is if you've enjoyed the episode, please do all the regular YouTube things. Hit the like, subscribe. I am trying to boost the channel, so feel free to share this wherever you can, and let's get some interest in the UK Shatterpoint scene. But thank you so much, Jed, for coming on and chatting to me. Been a real pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, no worries. Right, I will be back on Monday with the Star Wars Shatterpoint Stat Center, looking back over the weekend's results. So until then, thank you very much for listening, and bye for now.